Well, what we see this year in the report is that we essentially come out with three key messages. So one of our messages is that monetary policy currently is not enough to reignite global growth. It would be much more efficient if it was accompanied by competitiveness enhancing reforms as well. So this is the task to also the governments to continue the reform process in order to enhance the competitiveness of countries, because this is what will strengthen productivity and growth going forward. The second message is that openness has been declining over the past years, and that this could pose a potential threat to global growth going forward, and to the fact that income, we expect rising income for the future. So if we do not manage to reverse this trend in declining openness, we may see declining incomes going forward. And last but not least, openness is also important for innovation. And we see in particular in this year's report that innovation has been gaining in importance across all levels of development. So it's not only a prerogative of the more developed economies, but it's also very important for the entire development process. The United States performs actually very well across a number of areas. It's excellent in terms of labor market efficiency, also goods markets efficiency is very strong. Where we see some challenges is in particular in terms of institutions, where there's some room for improvement in terms of the functioning of the judiciary, but also trust in politicians, for example. We also see challenges with respect to the macroeconomic environment, which has been a challenge for a while, although it's improving slightly this year. And last but not least, I would highlight two more factors. One is the soundness of banks, where the United States ranks 36 globally, so it's a fairly low ranking. It remains a concern. And the other aspect is the education, concerns related to education, both at the primary level, but also the quality of math and science education as well. We did a rough estimation of which indicators of competitiveness would be impacted by Brexit. And our conclusion is that out of 112 indicators that we take into account, about 14 would be impacted negatively by Brexit. So it is a sizable portion of those indicators that would be impacted. I think what's important in the current political context globally is that there's a rising threat of protectionism that has been crystallizing across a number of countries, and that this is a major threat to global competitiveness and to the US competitiveness as well. And here, what's important is that we need to keep protectionist low and borders open in order to keep the flow of ideas into the country, also into the United States, and in order to have a technology transfer, in order to have a dynamic economy. Open economies are very important in that extent.